Thanksgiving Day, we're playing the Denver Broncos at Arrowhead Stadium. There was this eruption at one point later in the game that the sound was crackling, like there was something wrong with your amplifier. The hair on your arms stood up whether you wanted it to or not. The compression of the sound waves against your chest, it was just so powerful. I knew that I had to recreate that moment. How do I show you visually how loud something is? You know, that was my impression of Arrowhead that day. And who is anybody to tell me that it happened any differently? My name is Kristin, Bauer, and I'm a designer and illustrator from Kansas City, Missouri. My whole thought process from the very beginning was to try and show people something that nobody has seen before. Most often, where I found the best realized versions of what I was trying to describe was in comic books. The supernatural abilities that they have are the closest that I could think of or feel to, you know, the collision of a bat or the speed of a player. One of my favorite pieces is my Nigerian Nightmare piece. You know, not only is that a view that you'll never see, there's a violence and a caricature aspect of the piece at the same time. I think it gives you a totally different feel for a moment like that on the field. Mom and Dad were both creative types growing up. I mean, they were both what I would consider artists from a young age. That's what I grew up into. So when I was a kid, I understood that Dad had some kind of a problem. So, you know, one day we all went on a family vacation and Mom took us out on the back porch and explained to us that Dad had multiple sclerosis. So, you know, we kind of had to redefine meaningful moments in our relationship because of his lack of mobility. So we developed this bond essentially over Chiefs football. You know, even though Dad was confined to a wheelchair, he would get so excited. We shared a lot of those special moments in front of the TV on Sundays. The last 6 years of his life, we spent a lot of time in the hospital. And then one day, you know, just like any other day, it was hospital day, and Dad was already in a coma. And he remained there for about 2 days until finally he was gone. You know, I was there holding his hand. Every creative aspect of my life just came to a standstill. You know, it was almost like Dad gave all of that a purpose. And after he was gone, the purpose still existed, but I couldn't see it. Sports was something that I was passionate about. I knew that creating artwork was something that I was passionate about. And there was obviously this connection to Dad and like everything that he had left behind. The conclusion that I came to was that I needed to do something with the Chiefs. And I started out painting a different game every single week. Released them as desktop wallpapers for everybody to enjoy. And it was just sort of my contribution to the culture around the Chiefs, I guess. It was probably about after the first year that I figured out that, you know, hey, I might have something here. Why don't I try and get this in front of the right people? I think I even sent the Chiefs an email at some point. They were not interested at all until they found out that they were paintings. And then they did a 180. They're your childhood team, and they want to work with you. There's no way to describe how cool that feeling is. My first major project with them was a series of 5 souvenir cups. It's a pretty surreal feeling to look down the row, and I mean, literally every other seat has a piece of yours sitting in front of them. The cups were incredibly successful. They were some of the best selling in the entire NFL. And I was able to look back at what his dad contributed to all of this. And well, what he contributed was my technique, and that allowed me to, you know, create artwork that nobody's ever seen before and sell it and make a living and check off the passion and the profession boxes simultaneously. To have that be something that he left behind is the biggest gift that I can imagine.